We're jumping into it right now.
You know what the funny thing is? That game started at 1337.
Wow.
I'm actually not kidding.
I know.
Okay, if that's not going to be an epic match, then I don't know what will be. Starting to the top left, we have the Terran player who was able to win on Ohana, is now in a 1-0 lead over his opponent. This is a Flash. Starting in red, of course.
I'm scared about what's happened in 13 minutes and 37 seconds in this game.
We'll find out. Starting to the top right is his opponent, playing a really strong match on Ohana, but in the end it was Flash who prevailed. This is Mini, one of the Casper players that we did not know all too much about before they started to play in the Korea qualifier, won one of the brackets, and then had to face Naniwa in the first round of Korea. Yeah.
And, you know, like you said earlier, saying that he thought it was a pretty easy run so far, but his next opponent is quite the famous one. You know, Naniwa is really well known internationally and also quite known in Korea these days, but Flash is actually on a different level, I would say, especially in Korea. Now, this map is massive. We've talked about this in the past. This is a huge map, as is now being shown. You can see the watchtower so far in the middle there. Just look at the mini-map, look at that distance. We're probably going to see, yeah, both players are going to go for Nexus first and Command Center first.
The mini-map.
What? Ah! I was like, you got me there, man. I was like, oh. Okay, yeah, I see what you mean.
I see what he did there. Nexus first after we have a command center at 14, so both players trying to play the map here. Making a little bit more greedy because the map allows for it.
And there's the barracks, of course, follow-up. Flash is known for command center first play in all matchups, in fact. But on this map, it's a map-stupid build. They're not cross-positioned, so both of them, you know, are going to be able to scout each other pretty early. Mini going to have the upper hand with that, as he's going to see the command center first quite quickly. And if he wants to, he can delay it. And he does want to. Who wouldn't want to delay their opponent's command center?
Just annoying the SCV is already well worth it. That's something that you should always do, and occasionally you will be able to take the harvest down. But this time, of course, we have Flash reacting just in time. Going in with 2 additional SCVs to target down the probe and continue building the command center.
Yeah. Imagine this. I mean, it's so hard as a Terran player to actually build your command center first. He pulled 3 SCVs on it. One, of course, is Scout. But one is to save another SCV, which is already not mining. Plus, there's 2 other ones over there. It's like, when you think about the challenges of building a command center versus building a Nexus in this matchup, the Terran player does struggle a lot. But really well done by Flash, as you said. And now the probe will he get out? Actually, yes.
Yeah. Probe is able to escape, got all the scouting information, and now heads back to the main base, whereas we of course have also Flash with an SCV in his opponent's base, checking out what exactly is going on, sees about all the gases, knows everything. There's just nothing to force him back at this point.
Even the Zealot that will come out is probably not going to be able to kill the SCV. We'll see though, actually, he killed it. You guys didn't see it, but I did. Fast third command center for Flash in Flash fashion. SCV was really scared when he died. Should be. He was like, why isn't Flash telling me to move? He likes third command center more than me? I don't get it. I'm a living being. The command center is just a structure.
I personally get it. I don't like SCVs either.
Well,
probes are more nasty. SCVs drill. Probes kind of go for this electrocute thingy.
SCVs are always lazy. What do you want? Stuff like that, like vultures in StarCraft 1. Probes just do what they're told.
But you can already see that this game is shaping up to last a little bit longer. We don't have any kind of early game aggression. We don't have a heavy gateway attack for Mini. Flash is kind of trying to go for some kind of timing, so this will definitely be a long game. We will definitely get to see what happens at 30 minutes and 47 seconds.
Yeah. Looks like Mini wants to put a little bit of pressure on potentially with some gateways. He might go up to 4 here. 3 is also fine. He may go 3 in a robo, which is the more standard approach. But on a map like this, Flash is just going to try to see with his SCVs, even swinging around the right side, because even though it's a big map, you are vulnerable if your opponent gets that forward pylon up and does that attack, because the forward pylon and the warp in point kind of eliminates the map distance and the defender's advantage. And he's actually added 5 gates. This is something that if Flash does not see, he'll be in trouble, but guess what? He's here. Oh, he's not going to be able to see it, though. So unfortunate.
And Mini is really going for a bit of gateway pressure. I actually did not expect him to do it. The question, of course, is will Flash see it? But Flash is now preparing with another bunker. And there comes the scan. He knows something is up. He scans, but I don't think that he really saw those gateways to the top left. No, he actually didn't.
Yeah, seeing 3 gateways looks pretty normal. He's adding the second bunker, as you said. Okay, there's the third bunker. He's like, you know what? Something just doesn't feel right. And this happens to every player, where you're up a game, you don't know what's going on. You're like, this just doesn't feel right. He barely misses the pylon. He's actually missing all the information that he wants, but regardless, he's actually adding the bunkers. Something has tipped him off. He has a feeling.
Yeah.
He's got flash sense.
He has a hunch here, and he wants to make sure that he's not dying to any kind of shenanigans, and this is, of course, the worst-case scenario for Mini. And whoever is going to win this match, this best of 3, has to face Curious in the next round, so a very strong Zerg player is awaiting the victor of this best of 3 in the 3rd round of Code A. That will decide who's going to Code S.
Flash knows what's up. He's got his SCVs pulled.
Look at the amount of bunkers that we have. He's actually building a 5th bunker.
There's so many units here, though. I mean, a ton of units.
Yeah.
Flash only has 13 brains in the front of his base here. The Stalkers charging through. They may have too much DPS. Great force field here blocking out those SCVs.
But a few SCVs can still repair. Really well done by Flash so far. One bunker dies, the second one too, but Mini might just have too much.
He's used a ton of chrono energy on his gateways. I think you're right, man. He may have too much. The last bunker here is being repaired by a ton of SCVs. Here comes a Warp of Zealots, though.
There are no Marauders. He only has Marines, and the bunkers are going to die. The force fields are good, and now the next bunker is about to be broken down. The SCVs doing a great job at mass repairing here, though. Mini is dropping in supply, but so is Flash with the Proto Split. It really looks like he's able to push through. He's killing so many Harvesters already.
This was so calculated, the way he executed this. He saved so much chrono energy. He was able to do a full chrono on all 6 gateways. Twice, basically. Not quite all of them, but he had almost full energy on both neck sides, so he was able to get so many chronos out.
At this point, he breaks through. Flash already lost way too many Harvesters. He lost 22 SCVs by now. Stim is about to be done, but there's nothing to be stimmed. GG. And Flash and Mini are now heading into the 3rd game.
Taking a risk, but saying, I think there's a high likelihood that you will have a 3rd command center and I can break through here. And it also just goes to show that if you save that much energy and you get that many units out, even if your opponent knows you're coming, even if he makes 5 bunkers, you can actually still break through. That strategy is a great one. It's not a strategy where it's like, he saw me, I guess I can't make this work. If you target correctly, you use those force seals well, you can break through. Yeah,
with all the gateways that he had, he definitely could pull it off, and he did. So now we have a 3rd game, which will determine who is going to face Curious in the round of 3 of Code A, who will get the shot to advance into Code S immediately, and will be able to dodge the up and downs. Of course, whoever loses here today is not out of the GSL just yet. He has to play the up and downs, and then will either be in Code A next season or in Code S. Only if you lose in the 1st round, you will be out of the tournament and have to re-qualify through the Code A qualifier.
Minnie says he needs a 2nd in the chat, and I don't know why, but the final map is going to be Antigua Shipyard. He may have to go to the bathroom, maybe like a short, brief break, but during that time we can actually talk about what happened last game. The chrono energy saved was pretty cool. I didn't check his probe count, but it was probably pretty low. I mean, this is a really nicely executed timing.
He had around 45.
That's that's about what you want. I guess maybe even a little bit more than he could have had, but with saving all that chrono energy, you hit the chronos so that you can get that 2nd round of warp-ins so fast. Then the 3rd round of warp-ins comes decently quick, but you need that Stalker count because to out-damage the SCVs, you need so many Stalkers. Stalkers do bonus damage to armored. They tear those bunkers down. You have to have that Stalker count ASAP, so that's exactly what he was going for. He had just a few sentries. He was like, this is only a one-time thing. I'm not going to do some damage, pull back for a second, do another warp, and then come in for a second time. That wasn't it. The attack could never stop. He kept it up. Really well executed.
No gas at the natural, so that was the only gas that he needed, and then he started to warp in the Zealots, and with all the SCV that he targeted down pretty well, he already did a lot of damage even before he was able to completely break through. But now we have a game on Antigua Shipyard, and this of course makes up for a lot of potential aggression. We could see Blink Stalkers once again. Gateway attacks on this map are also viable. As a Terran player, one base play can be really strong, especially when you manage to fake out your opponent. So a whole variety of strategies that both players could use here. We don't necessarily will see a gateway late game here.
Yeah. Minnie says his booth is a little bit cold, so someone's adjusting that for him right now. And
I can lend him my sweater if you want.
Yeah, I could give him mine as well. We both give him a sweater. It's like the new STX Soul jacket. But seriously, if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, look up STX Soul and look at how many different uniforms you can find for that. They love changing it for the seasons. You look up KT's uniforms, for example. Yeah, they've had quite a few, but not as many.
You know what another problem of Flash was in the last game? He had so many bunkers, but he did not really have enough Marines.
Yeah, exactly.
You could really see it. The stim wasn't done. He didn't have any Marauders. He only relied on Marines, and he just didn't have enough of them. His production was not good enough to keep up with what Mini warped in over and over again.
That's what happens, when you take that risky third command center. It's never 100% safe to do that. Well, it looks like they are finally ready. As I mentioned, the map is going to be Antigua Shipyard, 4-player map. Really exciting map for this matchup, especially considering what we saw in game number 1 with all the harassment and multitasking from these players.
And the countdown has started, so let's jump into the last game and let's see who's going to prevail in the best of 3. The score right now is 1-1. Another Flash or Mini are going to advance. Of course, Flash is definitely the fan favorite here, but maybe Mini can cause another upset after defeating Naniwa. Now up against Flash. TVP on Antigua Shipyard coming up in just a few seconds.